Hare Krishna. Thank you all for joining Srimad Bhagavatam Sangha and attentive Chappa. Let's make a start. Now we are on to Daksh. Same Daksh that was the father of Sati. At that time, he was the uncle of Dhruv Maharaj. So he's in the lineage of Dhruv Maharaj and Prithu Maharaj. So at that time, when he was there first, he was the uncle of Dhruv Maharaj. Now he's probably like great grandson. So it's like that. I suppose this is what happens with us as well. That we are going back to the same family, the same lineage. From time to time, we're just floating in space from one family to another family, then probably back to the same family. So we have so many journeys. So let's make a start. So this is Daksh and is Parikshit Maharaj explaining, not Parikshit Maharaj, my dear king, I shall fully explain to you the Haṁsa Guru prayers which were offered to the spring. Yeah, it is Parikshit Maharaj from Sukadeva Goswami by Daksh, and I shall explain how the Lord was pleased with him for those prayers. So it is to be understood that the Haṁsa Guru prayers were not composed by Daksh, but existed in the Vedic literature. So these prayers that we're discussing today, the Haṁsa Guha prayers, they were already there and they were recited by Daksh to the Lord. So Prajapati Daksh said, the Supreme Personal Godhead is transcendental to the illusory energy and the physical categories it produces. He possesses the potency for unfailing knowledge and supreme willpower, and he is the controller of the living entities and the illusory energy. The conditioned souls who have accepted this material manifestation as everything cannot see him, for he is above the evidence of experimental knowledge, self-evident and self-sufficient. He is not caused by any superior cause. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto him. So this is Prajapati Daksh saying to the Lord. And Srila Prabhupada explains that the conditioned souls may try to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead for many billions of years through their mental speculative processes, traveling at the speed of the mind or the wind, but still the absolute truth will remain inconceivable to them because a materialistic person cannot measure the length and breadth of the Supreme Personality of Godhead's unlimited existence. The answer is given here by the word Swayam Bhuve. One may understand him or not, but nevertheless, he is existing in his own spiritual potencies. So we can't understand Krishna fully. We can only understand him as much as he wants us to understand him. And even then, that we understand him is from the scriptures. So let's pray. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Mukham Kruti Vachalam Pangum Yandate Grim Yat Kirpata Humande Shri Gurundi Taranam Pramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Hari Om Tassat Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Cheva Narottamam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayam Udiriyat Nashta Preshav Abdureshu Nityam Bhagavat Sevya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhakti Bhakti Nishtaki. Hare Krishna. As the sense objects form taste, touch, smell, sound cannot understand how the senses perceive them, so the conditioned soul, although residing in his body along with the super soul, cannot understand how the supreme spiritual person, the master of the material creation, directs his senses. Let me offer my respectful obeisance unto the Supreme Person, who is the Supreme Controller. So the individual soul and the Supreme Soul live together within the body, This is confirmed in the Upanishads by the analogy that two friendly birds live in one tree, one bird eating the fruits of the tree, and the other simply witnessing and directing. Although the individual living being, who is compared to the bird that is eating, is sitting with his friend, the supreme soul, the individual living being cannot see him. Actually, the super soul is directing the working of his senses in the enjoyment of sense objects. So the super soul is directing us all the time. The super soul is directing the birds and the animals as well. The birds and animals, they need the super soul especially to guide them towards everything. So it is there in every atom, isn't it? There in everything. He's the is the guide and the maintainer. But as these sense objects cannot see the senses, the conditioned soul cannot see the directing soul, which is the super soul. The conditioned soul has desires, and the supreme soul fulfills them. But the conditioned soul is unable to see the supreme soul. Thus, Prajapati Daksh offers him his obeisances to the supreme soul. The supreme soul, even though unable to see him. So another example given here is that although ordinary citizens work under the direction of the government, they cannot understand how they are being governed or what the government is. So yeah, so we have rules, we have laws to follow. We don't necessarily have to, we're not necessarily directly in contact with the government, but we just know that these are the rules, these are the regulations that we have to follow. So it's like that. Because they're only matter, the body, the life is, the external and internal senses, the five gross elements, and the subtle sense objects cannot know their own nature, the nature of the other senses or the nature of the controllers. So our senses are imperfect. We don't even know, we don't even understand our own nature. We don't understand anybody else's nature. Whereas Krishna, he knows everything, everyone's nature, everyone's mind, and he's the same super soul in everyone. The three qualities that form their roots. Nevertheless, so actually this was can know his, but the living being, because of his spiritual nature, can know his body, the life is, the senses, the elements, and the sense objects. He can also know the three qualities that form their roots. Nevertheless, although the living entity is completely aware of them, he's unable to see the Supreme Being who is omniscient and unlimited. I therefore offer my respectful obeisance unto him. So saying that to an extent we can understand ourselves, whereas Krishna understands us completely and everyone else. When one's consciousness is completely purified of the contamination of material existence, gross and subtle, without being agitated as in the working and dreaming states, and when the mind is not dissolved as in sushupati, deep sleep, one comes to the platform of trance. Then one's material vision and the memories of the mind, which manifest names and forms, are vanquished. Only in such a trance is the Supreme Personality of Godhead revealed. Thus, let us offer our respectful obeisance unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is seen in that uncontaminated transcendental state. So, Sri Prabhupada explains that there are two stages of God realization. One is called Sujanya, or very easily understood, generally by mental speculation, and Brahman realization are considered Sujanya. But realization of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is Durgam, as described here. One attains the ultimate realization of the personality of Godhead when one gives up the activities of the mind, thinking, feeling, and willing, or in other words, when mental speculation stops. This transcendental realization is above Sushupati, deep sleep. In our gross conditional stage, we perceive things through mental experience and remembrance. And in the subtle stage, we perceive the world in dreams. The process of vision also involves remembrance and also exists in a subtle form. Above gross experience and dreams is Sushupati, deep sleep. And when one comes to the completely spiritual platform, transcending deep sleep, he attains trance, Vishuddha Sattva or Vasudeva Sattva, in which the personality of Godhead is revealed. So this is very complicated stuff explained here. So it says that Atha Shri Krishna Namadi Nabhaved Graham Indriyahi. As long as one is situated in duality on the sensual platform, gross or subtle, realization of the original personality Godhead is impossible. So we cannot understand God in our material platform with the material senses. Seven mukhi jivadao swam eva sparati adha. But when one engages his senses in the service of the Lord, specifically when one engages the tongue in chanting the Hare Krishna mantra and tasting only Krishna prasad with the spirit of service, the Supreme Personality Godhead is revealed. So basically, we have to spiritualize ourselves. If we are in the material senses, we are on the material platform, doing material with the material consciousness, we cannot understand Krishna. We have to be in a spiritual form by chanting. We have to spiritualize ourselves, eat only prasad, keep our consciousness spiritualized. Then we can start understanding God. This is indicated in this verse by the word Shuchi Sadmane. Shuchi means purified. By the spirit of rendering service with one's senses, one's entire existence becomes Shuchi Sadam, the platform of uncontaminated purity. So Daksh therefore offers his respectful obeisance on the Supreme Personality Godhead, who is revealed on the platform of Shuchi Sadam. In this regard, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur quotes the following prayer by Lord Brahma from Srimad Bhagavatam, Tathapi Bahuman Mehiman Gunasya Te Vibodham Arati Amalantar Atambi. One whose heart has become completely purified, my Lord, can understand the transcendental qualities of your Lordship and can understand the greatness of your activities. So it's very important to be in spiritual consciousness as long as as much as we can. This is why when we wake up, we're doing sadhana bhakti to spiritualize our consciousness throughout the day. So even all our actions are with that consciousness. And as we keep purifying, it takes time. As we keep purifying, then one day we'll understand Krishna even more. Just as great learned Brahmins who are expert in performing ritualistic ceremonies and sacrifices can extract the fire dormant within wooden fuel by chanting the 15 Samideni mantras, thus proving the efficacy of the Vedic mantras. So those who are actually advanced in consciousness, in other words, those who are Krishna conscious, can find the super soul. So it's all about the consciousness. What we're reading, it's, this is why Prabhupada named this mission Krishna consciousness, because it's all about how we purify our consciousness. Can find the super soul, who by his own spiritual potency is situated within the heart. So according to this, we can find the super soul. At the moment, we can't see him, we don't understand him, we don't even know whether he's there. But by pure consciousness, we can find the super soul, who by his own spiritual potency is situated within the heart. The heart is covered by the three modes of material nature and the 9 material elements. Material nature, the total material energy, the ego, the mind, and the 5 objects of sense gratification. So we are covered by illusion of the 3 modes of material nature and its energies, and also by the 5 material elements and the 10 senses. These 27 elements constitute the external energy of the Lord. Great yogis meditate upon the Lord, who is situated as the super soul, Paramatma, within the core of the heart. May that super soul be pleased with me. The super soul is realized when one is eager for liberation from the unlimited varieties of material life. One actually attains such liberation when he engages in the transcendental loving service of the Lord and realizes the Lord because of his attitude of service. Excuse me. The Lord may be addressed by various spiritual names which are inconceivable to the material senses. When will that Supreme Personal Godhead be pleased with me? Here, the prayers say that the form of the Lord is beyond the jurisdiction of material form and is therefore inconceivable. A devotee prays, however, my dear Lord, be pleased with me so that I may very easily see your transcendental form and potency. Non-devotees try to understand the Supreme Brahman by discussion of Neti Neti, Nished Nirvan, Sikhanu, Bhuti. A devotee, however, simply by chanting the holy name of the Lord, avoid such laborious speculations and realize the existence of the Lord very easily. So Daksh continues. Anything expressed by material vibrations, anything ascertained by material intelligence, and anything experienced by the material senses or concocted within the material mind is but an effect of the modes material nature, and therefore has nothing to do with the real nature of the Supreme Personality Godhead. The Supreme Lord is beyond the creation of this material world, for he is the source of the material qualities and creation. As the cause of all causes, he exists before the creation and after the creation. I wish to offer my respectful obeisance unto him. The Supreme Brahman, Krishna, is the ultimate resting place and source of everything. Everything is done by him. Everything belongs to him. Everything is offered to him. He's the ultimate objective, and whether acting or causing others to act. He's the ultimate doer. There are many causes, high and low. But since he's the cause of all causes, he is well known as the Supreme Brahman, who existed before all activities. He is one without a second and has no other cause. I therefore offer my respects unto him. Now, this is Daksh paying his, doing his prayers, paying respects to the Lord, and you can see and hear that he has so much knowledge, he understands everything, but yet, as we know, he will again commit more mistakes, just like Indra. They know everything, but habit is a habit or illusion energy. It can cover anyone. So we have to be very careful that never consider that, oh, we have become, mentally or spiritually strong, that material energy cannot touch us. He can touch these exalted devotees of the Lord. They're so learned and they're so close to, they're from like Brahma's family, and a lot closer in lineage to where we are, and yet, and he's like from Prithu Maharaj's, Prithu Maharaj's ancestor, Dhruv Maharaj's ancestor, and yet they still cannot help making mistakes or insulting the Lord. So we have to be very careful, that we keep ourselves in check, that we don't, bring ourselves lower. Let me offer my respectful obeisance unto the all-pervading Supreme Personality Godhead, who possesses unlimited transcendental qualities, acting from within the cause of the hearts of all philosophers, who propagate various views. He causes them to forget their own souls while sometimes agreeing and sometimes disagreeing among themselves. Thus, he creates within the material world a situation in which they are unable to come to a conclusion. I offer my obeisances unto him. So, Srila Prabhupada explains that the demoniac speculators cannot understand the transcendental qualities, form, pastime, strength, knowledge, and opulences of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which are all free from material contamination. These speculators are envious of the existence of the Lord. Their conclusion is that the entire cosmic manifestation has no controller, but is just working naturally. Thus, they are kept in constant darkness birth after birth and cannot understand the real causes of all causes. This is the reason why there are so many schools of philosophical speculation. So not everybody believes in the personal form of the Supreme Personality Godhead. They just believe in nature. A lot of people say, I don't believe in God, but I believe in nature that's running everything. But where does the nature come from? Who's controlling the nature? It's like that. Nature is like a machine, is a system, right? There's a controller of that machine as well. There are two parties, namely the theists and the atheists. The theists who accept the supersoul finds the spiritual cause through mystic yoga. However, these who merely analyzes the material elements comes to a conclusion of impersonalism and does not accept a supreme cause. So these are the Sankhya's, the people who follow the Sankhya philosophy. Whether Bhagwan, Paramatma, or even Brahman. Instead, he is preoccupied with the superfluous, external activities of material nature. Ultimately, however, both parties demonstrate, so the theist and the atheist, both parties demonstrate the absolute truth, because although they offer opposing statements, the object is the same ultimate cause. They are both approaching the same Supreme Brahman, to whom I offer my respectful obeisances. The Supreme Personality Godhead, who is inconceivably opulent, who is devoid of all material names, forms, and pastimes, and who is all-pervading, is especially merciful to the devotees who worship his lotus feet. Thus, he exhibits transcendental forms and names with his different pastimes. May that Supreme Personality Godhead, whose form is eternal, full of knowledge and bliss, be merciful to me. Generally, less intelligent men are under the impression that the Lord has no form. Therefore, appears in his original form as a Krishna Sachinanda Vigraha to carry out his mission of participating in the battle of Kurukshetra and pastimes to protect the devotees and vanquish the demons. This is his mercy. For those who think that he has no form and no work to do, Krishna comes to show that indeed he works. He works so gloriously that no one else can perform such uncommon acts. Although he appeared as a human being, he married 16,108 wives. So he might appear to be a human being, but then he also shows that what this human being can do. Can you do this now? Which is impossible for a human being to do. The Lord performs such activity to show people how great he is, how affectionate he is, and how merciful he is. Although his original name is Krishna, Krishna tu Bhagwan Swayam. He acts in unlimited ways, and therefore, according to his work, he has many, many thousands of names. So as the A carries various characteristics of the physical elements, like the aroma of a flower or colors resulting from a mixture of dust in the air, the Lord appears through lower systems of worship according to one's desires. Although he appears as a demigod and not as his original form, what is the use of these other forms? May the original Supreme Personality Godhead please fulfill my desires. So I'll read this again. As the A carries various characteristics of physical elements, like the aroma of a flower or colors resulting from a mixture of dust in the air, the Lord appears through lower systems of worship according to one's desires. Although he appears as the demigods and not in his original form, what is the use of these other forms? May the original Supreme Personality Godhead please fulfill my desires. This is amazing. So here's Daksh paying such beautiful praise to the Lord, and he understands everything. He understands that that Krishna has a form, and he comes for his devotees, and how he, although he seems like a ordinary person, he can lift Govardhan, he can marry 16,108 wives, he can fight the demons as a baby, can do everything. But the devotees were there, non-devotees were there. Like we discussed in last week, the devotees don't always see he's although they understand his greatness, but they still see him as a friend, as a son, due to the love. And whereas the people with demoniac mentality, they just envy him, then just see that he's some kind of magician or something, just doing tricks, and they don't see him as God. So thank you so much for joining. Excuse me, Hina Mataji, Shani Mataji, Jai Prabhu, Madhav Shyam Sundar Prabhu, Parveen Mataji, Pundikaksh Prabhu, and Saraswati Mataji, welcome back. And I'm just about to say something to Madhav Shyam Sundar Prabhu, and he's gone. Not to worry. Anyway, let's hear your views on this, and we'll start with Saraswati Mataji. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, everybody.
Hare Krishna.
Right, very, very nice praise by Daksh to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We are born of material nature, so our words, mind, consciousness are all material. And that's why, being material consciousness mind, we cannot understand the Supreme Lord unless we engage our mind and senses in devotional service of the Lord. In the material world, one's real knowledge is covered by fruitive activities and mental speculation. Because lack of devotional service, we cannot understand Supreme Vestality of Godhead. If we can solve our problems of our life, we have to adopt devotional service by chanting the holy name of the Lord and hearing his katha. Supreme, it says, it shows by that Prabhu's reading that Supreme Lord is always satisfied by the prayers of the devotees. That's why Daksha wanted to satisfy Supreme Personality of God and please him. And therefore, when the devotees are in distress or they want something, they approach the Supreme Lord for the favors they want and to clear the mind or anything they want. There is nothing as Krishna says again and again, there is nothing above the bhakti yoga. Bhakti yoga, if you do bhakti, then it purifies our senses, our mind, and our consciousness. And if you want to understand Krishna, Krishna says in Bhagavad-Gita himself, one can understand me only by devotional service in the chapter 18. And I can't understand by Dhyan Yoga or Karma Yoga or anything, only Bhakti Yoga. And that will purify your senses, and then you will know Krishna. And then you can get free from this material world which is full of miseries. So over and above, again, it is devotional service, and Daksha is praying to Lord for his mercy. And we should also just pray. Prayers are very powerful because Krishna listens. He listens our prayers, and it's up to him whether he answers our prayers or no prayers, but he listens. And we should never stop praying or doing devotional service to Krishna. And that is allowed, that what Krishna says in Bhagavad-Gita and in Bhagavatam, the devotees, they set the example as well, that how should we pray to Krishna. And we should learn from the devotees and from Bhagavatam and Bhagavad-Gita and from Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Wonderful. Yeah, you're right. But I mean, no, most of the time most of the people just transactional. We just have a transactional relationship with the Lord. And as we all say that there's four types of people who worship the Lord, and one of them is the who wants something, right? That we want something, and so like Daksh, he wants something. Certainly, God, you're great, and I understand you. But when they don't need him, then they don't recognize him. You see that in the material world as well. That somebody who wants something, they come so humble, and you're the best friend or the best relative when they need something. And then when it's the other way around, then they don't even know who you are. This is our nature. Krishna still accepts them, that's the thing. He still accepts. He says, fine, they're my children. I will help them, and hopefully one day, they will understand that what they really have to do. So, it does tolerate us a lot. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much. Pundikash Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I mean, such a nice.
Prabhu, can't hear you too well. Can you?
Can
I
you hear
think
me
you're
now?
away from mic.
Can you hear me now, Prabhuji?
Slightly, no, not still not very loud.
Can you hear me now?
Perfect. Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji. Yeah, I mean, such a nice purport before the start of our 24-hour Kirtan. So engage all your senses in the service of the Lord. So now, starting today, we can engage all our senses in the service of the Lord now. We have so many services over the weekend now. And it's mentioned, one of the point mentioned is like, we cannot understand the Lord by our mental speculation. And as mentioned in Ishopanishad, we have 4 defects, like cheating propensity, we always under illusion, our senses are imperfect. So we can only rely on the scriptures and understand those scriptures through the teachings of like spiritual masters and acharyas. Even though scriptures are given, we cannot understand them. And in Bhagavatam, in one of the chapter, it is said like, even for the prayers, we don't know how to offer prayers as well. So we generally follow the prayers of previous acharyas or previous devotees. That's what Mother Kunti. That's why we say Mother Kunti prayers, Arjuna prayers. So even because we don't, as it mentioned, the length and the breadth, we cannot understand the length and breadth of the qualities of the Lord. So how can we offer even prayers then without knowing Him? And we can do only by listening to the prayers of previous acharyas and devotees. And this point, like in chapter 11 and chapter 12 of Bhagavad-Gita, Krishna showed the universal form, and it is mentioned that Arjuna is not that he's not having any trust in the Lord, but he asked Krishna to show the super form so that he can set a milestone to the people who claim that they are actually gods or God have no form. In the 12th chapter, the very first text, Arjuna asked, what is the best one, whether to offer prayers to impersonal or personal form? And Krishna says that both are okay, both you'll reach a destination, but personal form is the one where I can reciprocate. Lord, reciprocate with us with love. So, Lord, help us when you show your endeavor towards in the service of the Lord. And no form and no guna, this keeps coming, and Prabhupada explained that it doesn't mean that Lord doesn't have any form or no guna, nirguna. It is that our senses are imperfect, because of which we cannot see that form or understand the Lord. And Prabhupada also mentioned, I think, like in Jupiter also you will see people are there, but we cannot see them. So our senses are not made to see those things. So we cannot say that Lord is nirguna or no form. That's all, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Yes, wonderful. Yeah, these prayers, they're very important because they are spoken by exalted people, personalities, and they have been tried and tested prayers. So yeah, they're there for us. This is the beauty of Srimad Bhagavatam. There's so many prayers. They're there for us to, use and please the Lord with them, as Lord is always pleased with the prayers. Thank you so much. Ishani Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Then Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Very nice class, Prabhuji. It is actually related to Bhakti Yoga, basically the middle chapters of Bhagavad-Gita. It's all, everything, the similar things are told by Krishna in Bhagavad-Gita as well, 7 to 12. So basically, he's mentioned that 4 kind of people come to me and 4 kind of people don't come to me. So 4 who come to me, as we have already discussed, and 4 who don't come are like Mudha, who are foolish, who are lowest among mankind, Naradama, and I think whose buddhi is captured by Maya, and fourth is who are of demonic nature. So Krishna says that he is very rare to attain. So then we were thinking of a question that why he's so rare to attain, like why he's not approachable to everyone, because we feel that Krishna is very merciful. He should be approachable to everyone without discrimination. So as he also says in Bhagavad-Gita that he doesn't discriminate. So why he's so rare? Why is devotional service is so rare? So recently we read in NOD, Nectar of Devotion, by Srila Rupa Goswami. He has written that why Krishna is so rare is that Krishna, when Krishna gives somebody the devotional service, and when he chants and when he takes the name of Krishna, Krishna himself gets purchased by that devotee. So that is why, taking his name, his devotion is very rare for in this life, as in Bhagavad Gita it's also said, Bahunam Janmanamante. In 726, Krishna also says that I know everyone, but no one knows me. So this is really a very rare thing that somebody gets devotional service. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hari Bol.
Thank you so much, Gauri. Thank you. Yes, rare, but yet that's the total recommendation in Bhagavad Gita and in Srimad Bhagavatam, that we still do it, right? We still carry on because that's the only solution. It's like in these prayers, well, it's mentioned that you can only understand Krishna Bhakti Janati only by devotional service. That's the only way to understand it. So that's the key, right? So it's hard to get it, but yet that's the only path you can follow. It's a very difficult path, but Krishna's made it easy for us by giving us the chanting of the holy name, the Maha Mantra. He says, we keep chanting, and you will come to me. Thank you, Mother. Okay. Who else we have? Yes, Hina Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Some very nice points that have been already made by the devotees. I particularly like the points around how reminding us about how our own senses are so imperfect, and the importance of spiritualizing ourselves, our senses. And that's, I think, to me, it's the key, really. It's how we can continue to keep our consciousness spiritualized, keep it purified during the day. And it emphasizes the importance of having a daily sadhana, making time during your day to reflect, to think about the Lord, trying just, apart from the morning, our own morning sadhanas, but throughout the day as well is also equally important. And how, as it's reflected on how material energy is very powerful, and it's so easy to become disillusioned, and it's so easy for our minds to get strayed during the day and forget the Lord. So that's what I was thinking of. So thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, it's it is very difficult to keep spiritual consciousness all the time. I mean, I'm trying. I heard that we should always be in the mode of a devotee. Always have the devotee consciousness, and this way we can help so many people. We see opportunities everywhere we go, and everyone we meet. Have been in the mode of a devotee, but it is it's very easily forgotten. It's like, we might remember one day, second day we might not even think about it. It might not even occur to us, and we might remember like end of the day that you've gone through the whole day, you never even thought that, oh, hang on, I was supposed to be in the devotee consciousness. What happened? You just get so mixed up in the heat of the moment with the crowd, because we are out there on the battlefield with Maya, and so easily forget these things. I mean, we forget to offer what we're eating. We just like remember afterwards. So we have to offer. So it is, little things, but so easily forgotten because we're not conscious. Just like we see things with the mind rather than the eyes. The eyes are there for seeing, but only after the mind has seen them. So it's like that, even if you're not conscious, mindful of something, it could be there right in front of you, but you don't think about it. You don't, engage yourself because your mind is distracted, is somewhere else. So it's that easy to be, to miss this. Hare Krishna. Praveen Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Yeah, the ultimate goal is Krishna only, and to engage our senses in the service of Krishna. And like what you're saying, it's not easy. He doesn't grant that easily, but yeah, we still, have to do our best, and we don't have to see the result, and just the time spent in the service of Krishna is the time well spent. Otherwise, we're just wasting our time. And Krishna is so merciful, he's just giving us the opportunity to serve him for 2 whole days. So we can see how merciful he is and how everything is coming together. Although we're still worrying about things, but we have faith in Krishna that everything is going to be fine. Yes. Yes. I'm sorry I'm cooking as well. So
that's good. That's so nice.
Yeah.
That's nice. Yes, that's fine, Mataji. Thank you. So this is why the association of devotees is so important, right? So we
yes, that's what I was going to say. Association of devotees. So that's what keeps us in check and everything.
yes.
We got Mani Prabhu in our morning japa session. He is so inspiring, and he's just recently joined, and he's got good understanding of Bhagavad-Gita. He's already on Bhagavatam Canto 2 within few months, So, and then you get so inspired, when you hear from them, and yes, then we know the importance, you just learn from each other, and you get inspired and motivated. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Yes, faith comes from reading scriptures, and faith comes from association devotees, and faith comes from when Krishna becomes active in your life. When you start doing devotional service, Krishna becomes active in your life, and your faith keeps developing. So, we need to read, we need to discuss like we're discussing, which is also association in the first place. Okay, and do our devotional service. And this is also devotional service, what we're doing right now, but chanting and everything. Krishna becomes active in your life, gives you more faith. So, we can only push ourselves so much. Krishna has to pull us as well from the other side. And, we develop. And when you're sincere, Krishna sees the sincerity and he starts helping those devotees that he knows that they sincerely want this. So they're not their time, they're not wasting my time. I will help them.
Yes, we only have to desire, and then things happen. Because like when I started coming to Hare Krishna, Casey, and then because I knew from somewhere from before that, we have to read Bhagavatam. And then I asked, I think Nayan Prabhu, I've never read Bhagavatam. So, and then I had the desire, and within a month, Vrindavan Prabhu, we started Bhagavatam classes. And then, it just gives you so much faith that we just have to desire something, and Krishna makes it possible.
Absolutely.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Yes, we have to be shedding all the layers of material things. We have to have a spiritual body. Then only we will reach Golok Vrindavan. So a lot of hard work to do. It shouldn't be taken as something very cheap. It has to be, you have to have this consciousness in your head all the time, in your mind all the time, that you have to achieve the topmost marks. And how will you achieve the topmost marks? By not just swatting on the last day of the night before the exam. It has to be a continuous process, moment to moment. Because like Narayan Keshav Prabhu was saying that we act as a devotee one day and the other day we forget. But sometimes I think we act as a devotee one moment and the other moment something is troubling us, or somebody is giving some trouble to us in our mind or or in our body or anything. We just lose that consciousness so easily. So that's why Prabhupada has stressed this point of Krishna consciousness 24/7. He didn't say Krishna consciousness just when you wake up or just when you see the deities. It has to be all the time. Even in the dreams, he stressed that we should be Krishna conscious. Before sleeping, listen to something related to Krishna, or read Krishna book, or even do chanting. Like some Matajis or some people say that, oh, we get nightmares, we get disturbed in our thoughts and this and that. So Prabhupada gives simple formula. Get up, just reach out to the chanting beads and that's it. You will fall asleep again with Krishna. So it's very easy, but very difficult, but it is doable. Krishna has given us everything through the scriptures. All we have to do is take chanting, take Krishna's name very seriously. Then only we'll be able to understand the scriptures. And when we start understanding the scriptures, then we will understand the importance of the association and the importance of keeping the check on our minds. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, so we have Prabhu, Jai Prabhu. He's mentioned a few points just to remind us. Daksh performed severe austerities in the mountains to please Lord Hari and offered the Haṁsa Guru prayers. The individual soul and the supreme soul live together within the body. The conditioned soul has desires and the supreme soul fulfills them, but the conditioned soul is unable to see the supreme soul. The supreme personality of Godhead is revealed only when one is in a state of trance. This is only possible if one has been purified from material contamination and given up activities of the mind. The Supreme Personality of Godhead can be revealed if one engages senses in the service of the Lord. So this state of trance, like in chapter 6, Bhagavad-Gita explains that, we have to be in that, we can be meditational state. It doesn't necessarily mean that we are sitting and meditating. We can be in a meditative state or trance, as a devotee, with our consciousness. So we're carrying on with our duties, but yet, mentally we are in a trance and in the mode of a devotee. So wonderful. Thank you so much. We'll do a couple of rounds now. Shri Mataji is back. So Mataji, please chant the first round, then Pareen Mataji, and then we'll complete. Hare Krishna. So Shri Mataji, please unmute yourself. I have to mute you.
Namam Vishnupadaya Krishnavastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Namini.